Hello everyone and welcome to Community Distance Reiki. I am so glad that you are here with me today. If you are new here, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. And if you are watching this on the replay, you're going to have just as fun and healing a time as if you were here live. If you would like to join me live, check out the description below. All of the regular days and times that I stream on YouTube 5 days a week, or 5 times a week rather, are all listed there, as is information about my live online Reiki certification classes, community Discord, crystal shop, and social media. If you're here live, go ahead and click the live chat button. Feel free to make any requests for your personal healing that you have, whether it's general or specific. And we're going to start off by building a beautiful crystal grid to support the healing intentions and wishes of everyone here. After about 45 minutes or an hour, we will transition into simply having some beautiful music and my sending Reiki to you whenever and wherever you happen to be. If you're watching this on the replay and you want to skip ahead to the healing, go ahead and skip ahead to approximately the 45-minute to an hour point, and or when you see the lights begin to shift, and you'll be able to simply enjoy the distance Reiki from there. So thank you again so much for being here. It's an honor and a pleasure. I'm Danielle Stimpson, and you can learn more about me also on my website, learnreikiphiladelphia.com. So let's go ahead and say hi to everyone here and start things off on the grid. So let's see everybody. Awesome. So good to see you all. I've got Korakar, Key and or Patty, Blue Sky, JS, Chris, and Grace. It's great to see everybody. The weather has been not bad, actually. It's not that freezing out. I'll take it. I can have my windows open. Sounds great. But let's start diving in on some crystals. As usual, we're starting off with a copper spiral. And this copper spiral helps to get the energy flow in, get the energy moving, breaks up the energy blockages that you may have, and we'll start building from that point. And let's see what we have here. So Blue Sky had the first requests, and they'll be back for the full session at 8. So let's see. Intention is to keep going when tasks feel mundane. Yeah, for real. Garnet, Angelite, Iolite, black tourmaline, and tourmalinated quartz. So let's start there. And keep on the requests. You can request crystals or just what your intentions are and let me pick them, or both. Totally cool either way. So we'll get some garnet, angelite, iolite, black tourmaline, tourmalinated quartz. So black tourmaline helps to repel negative or sort of less than desirable energy, but it does so much more than that too. It can be very grounding. So this is black tourmaline. Works really well, especially for people who tend to be empathic, or if you're around folks that have really kind of poor energy boundaries and you're looking to put up a little bit more of a barrier. This is wonderful. It just sort of keeps those other energies at bay, no judgment or anything, just sort of keeps it out of your field. You can put this, around your property. You can put this above the doorway to your room or your office. And this is tourmalinated quartz. So these are parts of very big pieces of black tourmaline. This is quartz that actually has black tourmaline running through it. It naturally forms it starts as sort of very thin like this, and then over time, of course, expands as it forms. Tourmalinated quartz gives us a very different profile on the healing. So here it helps us ground and release the energy that we already have in our energy field, but it also helps with breaking things up. That's patterns, even patterns from childhood. It's thought to help break up scar tissue, whether that's literal, physical, like on the skin or within the body scar tissue, or emotional scar tissue. So breaking up old habits, old patterns, old ways of thinking, expecting things to always be the same. It also helps, it's thought to help with like cardiac health and breaking up blockages there too. It, can't hurt to add it to all the things that you're doing now. It also is thought to be very protective of people traveling, which it sounds like people could still really use that. Travel is still kind of a mess, as well as fortune, new jobs, new gigs, new streams of income, as well as to heal from emotional trauma too. There's a lot of stones that can help that. So for all of the things that it does, we're going to bring it in. It's a wonderful multi-purpose stone. In fact, let's do... Okay, so that's tourmalinated quartz. Iolite we use in almost every grid because it does so many different things so well. It helps with, one is weight loss if that's your intention, but it also helps with if your sleep cycle is disturbed, especially if you tend to have difficulty sleeping because you're being intuitive or it feels like you're having difficulty grounding at bedtime. This can be helpful there, as well as having visionary experiences when you're doing spiritual work. So whether you're shamanic journeying, whether you are doing visionary meditation, this can be a really, really supportive stone. It's also thought to help support fever and bringing that down. Angelite, much as the name would suggest, helps with our connection to our angels. So if you want to feel a stronger connection to them, even if you just sort of believe in them, but you want to feel them a little more, all the way up to, oh, I hang out with my angels all the time and I want some kind of reminder or a way to strengthen that connection, this can be a beautiful stone. Angels are great for working with our connection to our soul's purpose and how to embrace that and walk towards it more easily. So if you're looking for guidance on that, Angelite can be really helpful. It's also helpful if you're working with integrated energy therapy, which is another type of energy healing that I work with, can be great. And garnet, the January birthstone. Garnet is helpful for all the things that we would think Capricorn is aligned with. Organization, being productive, making tasks as efficient as possible. It's also really helpful for the courage and the stability to put things together and make them happen. So it can be a beautiful stone for starting a business or, kind of like getting things back on track no matter what they may be. So we'll bring this in. Very grounding stone in times of change. It helps you to embrace it and make the decisions you need to and go forward. So thank you for being here, Blue Sky. I hope you enjoy this when you get to see it. Omi, it's wonderful to see you. Belinda, good to see you. Christina, Val, welcome in. Erica, great to see you too. Yeah, keep the requests coming. And happy full moon in Cancer, absolutely. Thank you for the reminder. The kittens are sleeping. They're all out of sorts because I did some cleaning and moved things around, and that always really throws them for a loop. Healing for your sister, your friend John, low metabolism, smoking cessation, Kundalini awakening. Absolutely. So we'll bring those in. Awesome. Okay, good stuff. So I believe I can get through everybody's requests today. So let's go ahead and dive in. We have Chris's request. We also have Korakar, wealth blessings, weight loss, and psychopomps, which Iolite definitely covers. Psychopomps is the best way I can describe it kind of succinctly. It's visionary connection with our guides when we do spiritual work, or shamanic journeying would be another way to kind of use a term that folks might be more familiar with. Cardio health, definitely. Okay, cool. Oh, and some good requests. So we also did hear that Blue Sky requested keep going when you feel like it's kind of not moving. How do we keep going when we feel like the tasks are just sort of mundane, but they will get us where we want to go? Garnet is very helpful, but so is chrysoprase. And this is one of the stones requested by Korakar. Chrysoprase helps us with overcoming disappointment, apathy, feeling like we'll never quite get to our goal. It's also a great stone that helps us to pick up the pieces after a failure or a setback. This is one that helps us to take a moment and pause and breathe and say, okay, let's take stock here. It seems like my goal is a million miles away, or like I just lost all the progress. At the same time, it allows us to look back and say, well, all of that effort I've put in so far, maybe I'm farther along than I thought. And even if I need to pivot or start with something different, I've still made progress with what I've done so far. So it kind of supports our heart to keep going. Helps with follow through and completing goals in general. So I'll go ahead and we'll bring this in. I love working with this stone. It's really pretty. It can, when you see gem quality chrysoprase, you'll often notice it even being like bright green, and there is like a yellow chrysoprase too that can be quite bright. So we've got those. We also have peridot, flower agate, and red and white coral. We already got garnet, moonstone, moss agate, and I don't know where my red coral went to. Not sure where my red coral went to. Might have to ask the cats about that. We'll see if I come across it, but we'll start with what we have. White coral helps with embracing our spiritual path and helps us to avoid distractions and getting pulled off course as we work towards it. So this is like a big boost behind you. It's like having the wind at your back as you do what you know you need to do, even if the folks around you are really confused by like, why are you changing things up? Why don't you just go back to that stable thing? And you're like, but I know that this is what I need to do. This is a stone to help that. So that's white coral. This was actually picked up on the beach by myself and my grandmother after a storm. So it wasn't harvested. It didn't harm any reefs when it was harvested. Flower blossom agate really helps with seeing us bloom and blossom and really seeing the progress we're making, and also aids us in being able to visualize further progress going. So it can be really like a happy burst of joy. It gives us a little bit of room to have pride in our progress. And so for that reason, it works really well with chrysoprase. Moss agate we use here often for things like infections, anything that's spreading through the body that would be seen in like a Chinese medicine or Ayurveda as an invader. Whether it's fungal, bacterial, viral, anything like that, it really helps to, it's thought on a spiritual level to help kind of root that out. So we'll bring this into. It's also very grounding. It helps one to connect with nature around them, the nature spirits around them. It's one of the many stones I suggest if you're struggling with, say you're in a climate like I am in Philadelphia where you're really separated from things that are green for a good part of the year because it's just so darn cold. That can help with that connection to nature. Moonstone aids with connection to the cycles of nature. So being that it's a full moon, it couldn't be a more perfect day, but any kind of cycle within your body. So if it's like a menstrual cycle, if it's your circadian rhythm and sleep cycle, whatever it might be, this can help. This is also wonderful for doing any kind of lunar work or moon magic, as well as finding your spiritual type soulmate connection or finding a new spiritually aligned mate or date. This also helps with everything in the divine feminine, connection with ancient wisdom and learning, and it's another one that can be really helpful for protection when you're traveling. It's also great for intuition and releasing patterns. So we will bring this in. I usually think of it as aligned with like the High Priestess energy in the tarot deck. Peridot helps us to break up bad habits and negative cycles that we might be repeating. And it also helps us to find new and bolster old friendships that support those more positive cycles and positive patterns in our lives. So that's Peridot. Okay. And let's see what else. Vincent, welcome in. It's good to see you. Nat, welcome in. Lapis Lazuli too. Susan, wonderful to see you. Support for bringing in people for literary agent. Buyers for the highest good. Support for Corocar's stepdad, mother, and Vincent. I love it. All of the support for everyone. My choice, hi, good health and peace. Beautiful. Oh, I love the nice full house that we have today. It's a beautiful day to get some Reiki. When is it a bad day? It's never a bad day. So let's go ahead with Chris's request, and then we'll continue going through other stuff here. Let me take a peek. Oh, okay. And Val, your uncle has congestive heart failure. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Rose quartz. Yeah, you feel blue skies request too. Yeah, me too. I get it. Tree agate, okay. Selenite. Tree agate, selenite. Let's put that there. So tree agate is moss agate. I've seen be really popular in Chinese medicine, and for similar reasons, I see tree agate as being really popular in Ayurveda. It's actually a sacred stone in Ayurveda. And that's another example. Here we go. We don't work with it super often here, but I wanted to show you a couple of ways it could look. All of these are tree agate. One's tumbled, one naturally showed up like just a piece of rough that just happened to be shaped like a heart. So of course it's for us. And this is called druzy. This is what happens when new crystals are forming. They're like baby crystals. All of these are examples of tree agate, which is thought to help clear the nadis or the energy channels within the body, getting energy to flow more optimally, helping every level of wellness, and just honestly being a complement to pretty much everything on the physical level. Absolutely love it. And yeah, we'll put that right in the middle there. But yeah, I wanted to show you a couple different versions of it. It can look quite different depending on the specimen. So definitely got that in. Oh, jade, okay. Jade I'm gonna put in now because it's a little bit tricky. This is a piece of nephrite jade. Jade can come in just about any color actually, but usually we see like the bright green jade that most people are like the jadeite jade, that's the most precious. Nephrite jade has some more crystalline structure in it, like more quartz in it. But this is a stone that's sacred to the indigenous people of Central and South America, as well as China, and for excellent reasons. It's the good fortune stone on every level. It's in relationships, in career, in finance, in love. It's a stone that really supports happiness, wholeness, well balance on every single level of your life. So definitely one that goes well with tree agate too. Okay. So now you know why I put the jade in now. Okay, good stuff. And I did see, let's see, malachite, jade, green onyx, absolutely tiger eye. cool. Okay. And chevron amethyst. And I will continue explaining these as we go through. Selenite we've got picked up. Red tiger eye, mahogany obsidian. Deepening communal practices and health. I love that. Let's go ahead to prosperity with, well, let's start with Korakar's father or stepfather for colon cancer. A wonderful stone to help support folks that are struggling with cancer is rutilated quartz, which actually supports a lot of different things. So tourmalinated quartz has black tourmaline running through it. These silver and gold streaks are rutils, and they can run through a lot of different stones. Here, running through quartz, this rutilated quartz, it's thought to help balance the mind and the body and the mind-body connection. It can also help give us a burst of energy, physical energy, as well as regain physical energy after we've been sick or ill or undergoing any kind of treatment. And it's thought to help direct healing exactly where it needs to go. So this is often thought of as supportive of anyone who's dealing with cancer or just getting better from an illness or injury in general. We also have citrine, which helps to bring about financial abundance, as well as balancing the logic and intuitive parts of ourselves. So we're going to go ahead and put these in here as well. Chevron amethyst is by request, and also I think this really supports what I was seeing for Greg and Susan. This is chevron amethyst. Also supports connection to psychopomp and anyone who has an intention around intuition. This is a stone that helps to connect us with spirit in a way that we can hear messages more easily, but also send those messages up. It's almost like a dialogue to spirit. Even if you're not someone who has that, like, okay, angels, I'd like this. Okay, it's to your left. If it's something more like you just sort of sense and know, this helps you send the messages up of what you need and helps you to intuit any kind of answers from the universe that there might be. Like, hey, it's a little bit over there, or talk to this person you know, or any of those kinds of things. It makes that dialogue around manifestation a lot more easy. It's also really helpful for any kind of shamanic journeying, connection with our angels or guides, especially if we do want to have more visual experiences. It can really make those a lot more clear. And in general, it also helps with tolerance of others. So, and it's also linked with helping with degenerative diseases too. So we'll bring that in. We also have Amazonite, which is one that helps us with self-respect and feeling empowered in that way. It's great for anybody who does any kind of caregiving work. So whether you're a nurse or you're just that person in your community that the phone rings when things are going bad, this is a great stone. It's also really helpful for anything having to do with the spine or the nerves to and from the spine. So when we have the nerves coming off the spine, things like sciatica come to mind. I have nerve issues in my lower body. There's also even just general spinal issues, like we have someone that often requests things like support around stenosis, like Chris's sister. So we'll bring Amazonite in for all of those. And awesome. Future someone, wonderful to see you too. Oh, Key, or Patty, maybe. Reminds you of your late mother who went by Tree. Okay. Yeah, definitely like good health in general. Tree agate and moss agate. I really like both of those. They're like very general good health stones. Like optimal health, like movement throughout the body. Weight loss, definitely Iolite. Heart stuff too. Heart circulation and body fluids for sure is Unakite. And I know that that was requested by Chris also. And this is also wonderful for anything having to do with women's health, especially around hormones. Anything from fertility to postnatal to postmenopausal, all things in between. It helps to also support good relationships and good marriage, and is excellent for smoking cessation. So if you're looking to quit smoking or you're struggling with that, this is a great stone too. So all the best to your uncle. And let's see. I may even bring this one up here. Rose quartz. Let's do that. Rose quartz is a very high vibrational stone of unconditional love. And anytime that we're working through letting go so that we can improve, like say breaking up cycles, anything like that, letting go of things we no longer need or that are holding us back, it's a lot easier to let go of those things when we feel like there's not just something else worse that's going to take its place. And rose quartz is very consistent in its unconditional love. So having this nearby, no matter what you're doing, it reminds us on a very subtle but extremely powerful way that when we let go, new, better things can flow in, which makes it supportive no matter what kind of healing you're doing. So we'll go ahead and we'll bring those here. Tiger Eye helps with study and research, but also bolstering courage. Oh, sorry about that. It helps with big picture thinking. So if you're trying to like plan out all the details of something, or, oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna get this whole big thing done, this is what helps you break things up into more solvable pieces and more bite-sized pieces so you can get them done. So it works really well with garnet in that way. It's also helpful for anything having to do with entrepreneurship, very much in the same vein as that. It can help with strength and balance, and it can also help protect against envy and jealousy, whether it's kind of coming from within you or other people. You'll be able to see their input and behavior as what it is, and it can kind of protect against that somewhat. But it's also helpful for any kind of seeing big patterns, research, studying, even like problem solving or detective work. So it's one of the stones I often suggest for my friends that do like work with data, like data management or coding or anything like that, because it can help with details. Great onyx I absolutely love for heart healing. It's only one of the things it does, but it's It's so beautiful at it, especially the one that I was lucky enough to get. So green onyx often comes in like the lighter green, and I have that too. But this green onyx is just like a much deeper green. This is a natural color, and it's hard to find this. These were actually carved as early as the 1940s. But this type of green onyx is really helps us to move through grief around the heart and open up our heart after grief. It also helps us to just in general redefine what a loving relationship can be, and not just in terms of romantic relationships, but friendships, colleagues, everybody, like what a heart enriching relationship can be. We've also got red tiger eye, which is highly protective on all levels, whether it's bullying and nitpicking, triangulation, like that kind of really low vibe stuff, all the way up to really malevolent spiritual work. This is highly, highly protective. Also helps us to manifest finances in a hurry. So let's go ahead and put these right in front of our chrysoprase. There we go. Mahogany obsidian helps with sort of like that paralyzing perfectionism. Like, it's not perfect, I can't do it yet. It's not perfect, I can't launch it yet. Or anytime that we feel we need validation through our work, or that we just think we're plain old not good enough. This is mahogany obsidian. It's very grounding. It helps us to keep in mind, if you're working with a mantra like a done something is better than a perfect nothing, or fears about things not being quite good enough, or that we need it to be a certain level of perfect in order to get validation, and then that will make us valid. It helps deconstruct that. There. Malachite helps us to let go of what no longer serves, especially in the realm of anything heart-centered. And that letting go of that stuff can be really, really hard and a really, really big challenge. This allows us to move energy through the heart as we go through challenging times of letting go, so that we can, even though it's difficult, it helps us to keep from getting stuck in those places. So we'll bring in some malachite. It can definitely be a stone that's there for you when the emotional weather is pretty rough. So let's do... Yeah, let's do that. Okay. You're welcome, Val. Oh, you found a new piece of rose quartz on its way to you. That's great. Oh, it's good to see you, Patty. Jet is going in there. Pyrite, sodalite, leopard skin. Jet we're bringing in not only for that request, but for the request around Patty's missing cats and helping to call them back. Jet is wood that's been fossilized through intense heat, usually volcanic activity, occasionally very, very hot fires. But because it was fossilized so quickly, it went from being a living tree to a stone, it helps us to be one with grief, including very intense grief. Whether it's someone very, very close to us, like a romantic partner, family member, anything that's kind of an earth-shattering grief. It's also helpful for calling in lost animals. But this is a stone that I often give to people who've had a really shocking, surprising, sudden passing of someone close to them where it's really just deeply affected them and shaken the earth beneath them. Jet can be very, very helpful. So let's do, for now, we'll put these here. We may move them. So that is Jet. And let's see what other requests we have. The green onyx I have, they will soon be in the online store. So I'll try to remember to let everyone know when they are, because I have a lot of them. Oh, and Lapis. We want Lapis too. Let's see. Omi, when you say communal practices, there's a couple stones that come to mind. And the one that first jumped to mind. Here we go. Kambaba stone. It's often called Kambaba jasper. Either one is fine, but it's actually fossilized blue-green algae, believe it or not. This is what it looks like raw versus tumbled. So yeah, this is a stone that it's another one that does quite a bit. It's another stone that can be very helpful if you feel disconnected from physical nature during colder months. It can also help you if you are working with, say, a garden or plants. I have a big piece of Kambaba stone near one of the places I have plants in my living room for that reason. It also helps with healing community, also with ancestral connection around healing, and healing in a space to do it in harmony with the spirits that are naturally residing in that area. So it helps to, almost like spiritual permaculture is the way that I think of this stone. So I feel like this could be really, really helpful. And I want to bring this in. For now, I will place this here, but we will see where it ends up. We will see. We also have Sugilite, which helps to open up our throat chakra in a really beautiful way, whether it is expression through, say, if you're doing any kind of public speaking and you find that challenging, or you're addressing a group. This is also helpful for writing and expressing in that way. Even if you're writing music and things, this can be really helpful. So Sugilite, yes, it's throat chakra and expressing, but expressing things that are creative. Creativity is really like the sacral. So I feel like very much the throat and the sacral are often linked in this regard. This helps with the throat chakra side of it. So this is like if you're good at like writing and this is if you're struggling with the writing and expressing and actually getting the words out or the music out. It also helps anyone who's struggling with things like homesickness, and it's thought to help support folks that are struggling with symptoms of menopause or even coming to terms with aging. This can be really helpful. But yeah, everything having to do with communication. So let's do here and here. For leopard skin jasper, this is every kind of animal healing. So whether you are connecting to the animals that you're working with, like say your own pets, or if you want to connect with your animal spirit guides, or if you want to get a better idea of who your animal spirit guides are, this is a great stone to work with. Also helpful for any kind of healing of the skin as well. Anything in the skin, anything that's parasitic, it's thought to help with, as well as helping to find and attract a spiritually significant relationship. So it does quite a few different things, but it's really beautiful. Let's go ahead and put that with the rose quartz. Yeah, leopard skin jasper it's my kittens, when I first took them on as fosters, they're now my babies because foster fails are wins overall. I first was fostering them, they had ringworm, which is a fungal infection of the skin, and I had to clear them of that. That was what I was fostering them for, was to care for them and help them get rid of that. And animal healing, stuff in the skin, fungal infection. I had like moss agate and leopard skin jasper hung up from the ceiling in my bathroom where they were quarantined, and it really, really helped. Let's see, Chris had the requests to rutilated quartz, peridot iolite. So let's see, Caribbean blue and sapphire, blue kyanite, not seeing my bag of kyanite either. Grab a piece from here. So kyanite, Herkimer and aqua aura. Oh, there's blue kyanite. Okay, great. Aqua aura is one that a lot of us have been working with to support us through seasonal affective disorder, depression, and anything kind of in that category of things. I've found it to be really supportive and helpful as one of the things that I do to support myself through that. It certainly doesn't replace antidepressants or meditation or the myriad things that I do to help support myself with that, but it definitely helps. This is clear quartz crystal that's been put through a process using gold, and it's given it this blue kind of color. So we'll put this here. There we go. We also have blue kyanite has a really good connection, I feel, with the chevron amethyst. This helps us to better understand the spiritual wisdom we're getting, and it helps us to feel a bit of spiritual pride too, that we are fundamentally lovable and beautiful and acceptable exactly as we are, which is such an important thing. Also really thought to be supportive of anyone who's recovering from a stroke or brain injury that may have impacted the ability to speak or any kind of the mobility in that regard. So this is blue kyanite. So I'm going to put this right near the chevron amethyst. Yeah, so if you're someone that struggles with, what do these dreams mean? Blue kyanite. Blue kyanite for sure. We also have Herkimer diamond, which is another one that helps with connection in manifestation. This is one that helps us to hear the universe come back to us with like, hey, it might be closer than you think, but also when we're asking the universe for something, to say, I want this to be of the best possible impact to everyone that this manifestation will touch. It will be more harmonious to the community and everyone else that's in alignment with that. So definitely helps with things like what Susan had requested. Finding the best possible people to work with, literary agents, things like that. Also very good for discordant energy and kind of harmonizing that. So if you have a work environment or a living environment where everyone's energies are just a little bit not matching up or harmonizing, this can help. It helps to support metabolism, your intuition, and it helps us to be in the present moment, which is so important if we're doing something like manifesting. Rather than always looking forward to the next thing, is also just being in that moment of what do I have right now? Where am I right now? And finding peace in that as well. Sapphire is a very, very powerful stone of intuitive connection. It helps us when we want to connect to any kind of spiritual messages, but also helps us to translate those messages in a way that someone else can understand them. So if you're doing readings or even channeling for someone else, you can better hear the messages coming through, and you can better phrase them and translate them so that the person you're getting those answers for can best understand them. Very helpful for that. Can be a little ungrounding if you don't have a really good grounding practice. Might be best to work on that first or work with some other grounding stones. Let's see. And yeah, this is actually what blue sapphire forms like. Not all blue sapphire is clear. Very high, the very high quality stuff that you'll see in jewelry making is, but when it's mined, you get everything and then you take your pick, and then whatever's left, it's sort of like the rest of us can have fun with it for healing purposes. So there we go. So that's sapphire. Lapis lazuli helps us with integrity, being honest and open, and like, this is where we're at, this is where I'm at. Having a really good relationship based on the open, honest truth. Can help with finding colleagues that are very much in alignment with that, and really anyone in your life that's got that coming in. Also can be really helpful for personal responsibility, as well as disorganization. If you're trying to be less disorganized, this can be a really helpful stone. Also thought to be really helpful for pain and inflammation. So I don't know who might be dealing with that today, but I hope that this is helpful for you. We'll go ahead and bring some in. Let's see. Let's bring it into the middle, where I'm also going to bring in some pyrite. Pyrite is helpful for protection and with calling in financial resources. Think of it as fool's gold calls in the real gold. Also thought to be helpful for the brain and memory, particularly memory function. But this is a stone that can help with getting energy to move, especially in things like a Reiki session, or if you feel really stuck. It's very protective and at the same time helps to aid intuition. So if you're struggling with, yes, I want to hear and I want to keep things that are not great for me out of the picture while I do that, pyrite can be very helpful. So I'll bring that in. I think that definitely supports Korakar's mother, as well as the request we had from future someone. You have a lapis box and a malachite box. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Awesome. For Kundalini Awakening, we have aragonite with blue Caribbean calcite. This helps to facilitate intuitive insight and making it actionable, because it works with the root and earth star chakras, which help to connect us with making those actions and walking with our soul's purpose. It also helps the crown, the third eye, and the soul star chakra. Soul star chakra way up high, and within it is our sort of spiritual roadmap, the things we want to do. And that's always being updated as we make new choices, as other people make their choices. This is our best, highest spiritual path forward. So it's sort of like balancing the vision and the inaction. So another stone that can be really helpful in integrated energy therapy. And because it works with the uppermost and lowermost energy centers, can really help facilitate the optimal movement of Kundalini within the body. And Kundalini is, we could have more than an hour-long session on that on its own, but in a summary, it's the serpent energy that is coiled at the base of the spine and is usually dormant. But when we have our energy centers in proper alignment and open and flowing, it can allow that energy to flow more evenly, and that essentially brings us to a point of enlightenment. So this helps to optimize that flow. When we reach that point of true enlightenment, it can be completely overwhelming and very intense. This helps to, rather than it being like it's off, it's on, it's off, it's on, it helps it to flow more evenly. So definitely it's a Caribbean blue calcite and aragonite, which are two different types of calcite together in the same specimen. Bring this in. Oop, there we go. Oop, man overboard. There we go. We also have, let's see, we did that. Oh my goodness, we're almost there. Herkimer, or no, not so. Herkimer, hematite. Hematite is deeply grounding and allows us to move energy that is within the body through the body, releasing it into a connection with the earth so that we can ultimately clear energy within the body. It's, even since ancient times, it's thought to help clear the blood. And that's because with hematite, yes, this is a polished specimen, but it's got a lot of iron content, which is why it is so physically heavy and good for grounding and connected with the root chakra because there's red within it. But it was also deeply connected with the blood. So that's why it has the prefix hema, as in Greek for, blood. So yeah, wonderful for all of the grounding. Man overboard again. There we go. So that's hematite. And in addition to hematite, we had let's see, did we miss anybody? Got Christina's request. Selenite. Selenite helps to reflect back nothing but pure white light energy. This is actually how I clear a lot of stones. You can have a piece that you just rest your stones on for a few hours and it will help absolutely clear the energy. And that way you don't have to worry about which stones can be in the sunlight and the moonlight and the water and the salt. You can just use selenite for all of them. It's also great for creating a beautiful spiritual space for any kind of spiritual work. I have a bunch of it on the shelves behind me. This is the piece that I always keep just off camera beneath the grid to keep the energy reflecting outward for us as we work together. And we can bring this into the session today. Let's see how we want to. There we go. I love that. It's a little off center. But yeah, selenite is very inexpensive to work with. The most expensive thing is sometimes the shipping, because if a piece is really, really big, it may have to get in a special box. We have a bunch on the website, smaller sticks this size, that they're not very expensive. And just know that they're somewhat fragile. So if you were to go outside and say run them across the asphalt, it would write like a piece of chalk. That is a number 2 on the Mohs scale of hardness. Diamond is a 10. Talc, like talcum powder, is 1. That's 2. So don't put it even in running water or water at all. It will melt. But you can use it to clear other stones without having to possibly subject them to some kind of process that's going to harm them or damage them or ruin their finish even. So I think that that's just about everybody. And I did see a lot of good peace and things like that. Anything to support making space for yourself and acceptance. You might have missed it. I swear it was here. It's all good. It's all good. I kind of come at you fast with all this. Self-acceptance absolutely is blue kyanite. So I put a few in here, and here's a bigger specimen. I actually have this, of course, I have the stand for my monitor is just covered with crystals, and this is the one that I have on it. Oh, you lit a candle for us. Thank you. I'm going to see, is there anything else we feel we want? I feel like there's one more. Okay. So I am going to do the thing where I suggest a couple of crystals that I think might help kind of bring this grid to the next level. And I'm going to have you all vote on which one we'll use. For those of you who are new, hint, you're not limited to just one choice. But let me pick a couple of things that I think might be a good complement. Then I'm going to briefly explain what Reiki is, a little bit of how it works and what you might feel. And then we're going to get into the healing of it. So yeah, if you haven't already liked the stream, please consider doing so. And let me see what might be helpful here. I know. Okay. And okay, so I've got some suggestions. So the first one is going to be blue calcite. This I'm choosing in alignment with it being the Cancer full moon and everything else that's going on, and Mercury retrograde, which is a time that's meant to have us focus inward. It's not just meant to like mess everything up. That's not what it is. It's meant to have us focus inward, which is why things like communication and travel get a little fouled up, because we're meant to be focusing in here. So all of that in alignment with also like Cancer as a full moon, so a lot of emotions. This is a stone that can help us when we just feel completely bereft and overwhelmed. It can help us on the emotional level. It can help us to like expel those tears that might be difficult to get out. It can help us process difficult feelings while we sort of support ourselves and uplift ourselves a little bit. Really excellent for times of change or just like intense emotional energy, especially if we're just like a little bit imbalanced in that regard, which kind of is now. So blue calcite. And the other is in alignment with the request for peace, and that is shungite. And those of you who are here often know I have like one really nice piece of it that I keep in a plastic case so it won't get battered away by the cats. And here it is. This is Sugilite, by the way. Sorry, Sugilite. Sugilite helps us to connect with collective consciousness and the interconnectedness of all things to lift the vibration and bring about a more spiritual healing level throughout humanity. So when I hear like things like Omi's request and the request for peace and all of these, I'm like, Sugilite. So go ahead and you can vote for either blue calcite or Sugilite. And like I said, you're not limited to just one vote. Hint, hint, hint. And I'm going to quickly explain what Reiki is, what to expect, and then we will get into the healing. So if you need to run to the loo, you've got a couple minutes. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, hi, my name is Danielle. I am the owner of Learn Reiki Philadelphia. If you'd like to learn more about my live online Reiki certification classes, community Discord, social media, or crystal shop, all of that is linked in the description, as is the regular days and times that I stream here on YouTube so that you can set your schedule to them. I do occasionally do some pop-up streams around different astrology and or world events. So if you want to know about that, go ahead and click the subscribe bell with your notifications on and you won't miss an opportunity. So thank you for being here. And the style of Reiki that I work with is known as Usui Reiki. And this particular method is named after the method's founder, Mikao Usui, and he created this method in the early 1920s in Japan. And while he studied many different forms of spirituality and things that would involve energy healing, including he was a Tendai Buddhist monk, and Tendai is an esoteric form of Buddhism that you find in Japan, and it has actually spread back to the US as well. He was also, as a Japanese person, he was very much aware of Shintoism. It was also the state religion at the time. So the very foundation of what we can use to describe what energy is in this practice is what we see in Shintoism, which is the indigenous spirituality of Japan. And in Shintoism, everything has a soul, everyone and everything has a soul, and all of those souls are interconnected to a point. And while we are all interconnected, there are other energies and forces at play that help support the collective good and the individual good. One of those is this spiritually guided life or soul energy, which is what Reiki roughly translates to mean. So it's a force of energy that is already running through you, through me, through everyone and everything around us, whether or not we're consciously aware of it. We may not consciously be aware of the fact that we're mostly made of water, yet we are mostly made of water. And just as water is critically important for almost every function within our body, consciously, we don't control those things. We usually can't if we try, with very rare exception. Reiki energy, very similar. It's flowing through us. It's actually supporting our body, mind, and spirit to come to the best sense of balance, to the best sense of wellness that we can, moment to moment. And our internal intelligence really helps connect with that. When I work with Reiki energy using Usui's methods and techniques, what I'm essentially doing is connecting to that source energy and directing more of it to you. So your body, mind, and spirit can do even more rebalancing on your benefit. So you can set any intentions you have for your personal well-being during this session at any time. So whether you're watching this at home in the future or you're here live right now, if you're in the session and you're like, ooh, I just thought of something else, just think about it, ask the universe to support it, and it will absolutely be a part of the session. Because your body is already sending it to where it needs to go, you will definitely feel different things within your body. You may feel different sensations physically. You may feel emotions rise up or be released. You may have some sort of internal dialogue, almost like your mental well-being, get like a good sense of a way to kind of parse out some things mentally and think some things through that maybe you've been struggling with, and or get some insight and intuition and spiritual connection. Probably a combination of all of those, and very likely even an opportunity to take a quick nap. So whatever feels like it's coming up for you, it's absolutely perfect. At the end of the session, I'll reopen the chat. You'll hear my voice come in and welcome you to take a few breaths, and that's when you know the session is coming to a close. And at that time, I'll reopen the chat. You can ask any questions you might have or share anything that you feel entitled to, that you feel motivated to share with everyone in this very, public setting, notwithstanding. But you can use that. If you are, whether you're home or anything like that, you don't have to focus on anything during your session. You don't have to keep a silent mind. The best thing you can do is just support yourself to be as comfortable as you physically can. So you can lay down, sit up, keep your eyes closed, keep your eyes open, whatever feels right. I will have the camera on the crystal grid, and you'll notice that several different colors will move slowly and evenly over those crystals. At no point will they flash or strobe. I'll also have a beautiful soundtrack of healing music. If you'd like to know more about the musical creator, a link to her YouTube channel and her information are down in the description as well. And if you are watching this in the future, know that Reiki doesn't really mind you being miles away or away in terms of time. Because we're all interconnected, it doesn't matter when or where you are. If you're open to receiving this healing, it'll be there for you. So wherever you happen to be watching this, whenever you happen to be watching this, hi, I hope you have a beautiful session. You can also, if you're here live, know that you can always come in and look at the past healing live streams, the playlist for that, and just sort of play it in the background. You can skip ahead to the part where I'm sending healing or enjoy the discussion about the different crystals at the beginning, whatever feels better for you, and simply feel the healing flow to you whenever, wherever you need it. So thank you all so much for being here. It's an honor and a privilege to share it with you today. And yeah, if you think of any questions and you are not watching this live, go ahead and use the comment section and I'll do my best to get back to you. You can also reach out to me through my website, learnreikiphiladelphia.com, which also has more information about one-on-one distance sessions, readings, and all of my classes and things like that. So thanks again for being here, and let's get back into the healing. Okay, so who won? We have blue calcite, both, and both. I think both. Let's do both. It's always both. So here is the Sugilite. And I'm going to put some blue calcite all around. I'm going to put some, let's see. Definitely to counterbalance our sodalite, I'm going to put some pieces here and here. And I'm also going to put some pieces, let's see. Awesome. So everybody get comfy. And remember, you don't have to just sit still. You can move around, you can adjust, you can stretch, move, bend, whatever feels good to you. And enjoy your session. I will be back for you in 25 minutes. You'll know your session has come to a close when you hear my voice encourage you to take a deep breath in. And thank you so much for being here. I'll see you soon. Yeah, very watery looking grid. Definitely a Cancer new moon kind of day. I invite you now to take a deep breath in and out. And check out these snoring kitties. There's some serious purrs going on here. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And as a reminder, I will be back at 8 p.m. this evening for the same. And that's 8 p.m. East Coast US time. I'm gonna see if I can adjust things so you can see the cats. This one here is Hattie. And this one here is Gertie. Oh, the candle lasted perfect timing. Oh, hi. If anyone has any questions or anything to share, feel free to give me an ask. Thank you all so much for being here. Aw, Hattie's giving you all slow blinks. Aw. Yay. Yep, very sleepy, cozy kitties. Yeah, once they started doing stuff like this, I couldn't give them up. It would have just been cruel. Yeah. They've even started getting into a bedtime routine where they each have their spot on the bed. Thank you all so much. If you have any questions, feel free to shout them out. Yeah, they've gotten much bigger. They are really sweet. Hattie's about 6 to 7 pounds, probably like 6 pounds. And Gertie, definitely bigger than that. I'm not sure, I have to weigh her. But yeah, they're officially young cats now. They're no longer kittens. You're so welcome, Grace. I'm gonna go ahead and bring everything to a close with an abundance of gratitude for all of you. Thank you for your patience on the tarot readings for this month. I'm going to continue with those. It's just been Mercury retrograde style wild times on this end. So have a beautiful rest of your afternoon. I hope to see you again at 8. And if you can't be here this evening, remember Sundays at 8 p.m., Tuesdays at 10 a.m., Wednesdays at 4 p.m., and Fridays at 4 and 8 p.m., all East Coast U.S. time. Take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you again soon. Oh, give me back my arm just temporarily, and bye for now. You're so welcome, JS, and thank you for the thank you. See you at 8.